all, and welcome you watching the Monday edition of This Is Exclusive. Tonight on This Is Exclusive, we put the spotlight on the missing gold in the Sabarimala case. Tonight on Republic TV, we are going to uncover yet another chapter of the investigation that has been carried out by the SIT. The suspect who has been on the run. More details coming up on This Is Exclusive, but first let me take you through the headlines we're tracking at this hour.
पिछले एसआईआर की मतदाता सूची से मिलान का कार्य लगभग पूरा कर लिया गया है और इसके तैयारी के आधार पर अब चयनित राज्यों में एसआईआर का दूसरा चरण प्रारंभ किया जाएगा।
Election Commission of India briefs on nationwide SIR, confirms phase 2 rollout of SIR exercise in 12 states.
एसआईआर का फेज 1 समाप्त हुआ।
सबने मिलकर मतदाता सूची को शुद्ध बनाने का कार्य किया और नतीजा आपके सामने है। 0 अपील्स, अर्थात बिहार की मतदाता सूची अधिकतम शुद्ध मानी जाएगी।
CEC says SIR is needed to address frequent migration issue, recalls how 0 appeals were made in opposition to exercise. Probe intensifies on the Sabarimala gold loot. 556 grams of gold were allegedly seized from the residence of the prime accused Unnikrishnan Potti. Pakistan panics, now issues one more notification restricting multiple air traffic routes ahead of India's tri-services exercise. Ladies and gentlemen, back in 2019, the Travancore Devaswom board decided to carry out maintenance work at the revered Sabarimala Ayyappa temple. Bengaluru-based Unnikrishnan Potti, who earlier worked as an assistant to the priest at Sabarimala, offered to sponsor it. Though the plating's weight was about 4.5 kilogram when Potti returned it, no inquiry was essentially conducted. On 8th of September, a special commissioner appointed by the Kerala High Court for overseeing the activities at Sabarimala reported that the gold plating of the idols were removed and taken to Chennai without permission a day before. The Devaswom board later admitted the lapse. It was during these proceedings that the court found the discrepancy in the plating's weight after it was given to Potti back in 2019. It is suspected that gold coatings were looted by Potti with the connivance of the Devaswom board authorities. Potti, in fact, displayed the plating at various places in South India and collected donations for the work that he offered to carry out. The High Court thereafter asked the Devaswom Board Vigilance Wing to probe, which exposed the malpractice involving board officials. Subsequently, a High Court division bench comprising Justice Raja V and Justice V Jayakumar constituted a special investigation team. Over the last few days, the investigation has gained momentum. In fact, a team reached Bengaluru, that's the residence of the prime accused, and following the searches, there was a recovery made. In fact, we are given to understand top sources indicating that tomorrow in the court, they are essentially going to provide details of the searches that were basically carried out in the last few days, where the recovery of the gold was made, and it was not only limited just to Bengaluru, but a few other places. Tonight on This Is Exclusive, we uncover the details of the investigation that has carried out, and ladies and gentlemen, there is also a political link that is basically emerging. Republic, in fact, has now accessed inside details of the SIT probe and the Sabarimala gold theft case. Inside details that have emerged from the probe that has been carried out so far. And sources say 576 grams of gold were seized from the residence of the prime accused Unnikrishnan Potti. Now, according to the vigilance report that was submitted earlier, Potti allegedly stole a total of 4,584 grams of gold. That's the amount of gold that went missing. Investigators have also recovered 400 grams of gold from a merchant in Bellary as part of the same case. The investigation team is also taking steps to conduct scientific tests to confirm that the gold recovered from the body from this particular residence is the gold bars. In fact, let me just quickly take you through what we know so far. Unnikrishnan Potti happens to be the main accused in this particular case. It is Unnikrishnan Potti, who has been an assistant priest, did actually make the offer that he would carry out the gold plating. In fact, that was essentially required for maintenance work. And it turns out that thereafter, it was taken to Chennai. And a company called Smart Creations was entrusted with the job of carrying out this entire work. In the process, they've also collected donations from people in the name of carrying out the maintenance work. And thereafter, there are a few other people, apart from Unnikrishnan Potti, who has essentially been part of this entire cabal that was basically running this entire show. On your screens right now, some images that we have essentially accessed, these are of the temple doors where the gold plating is essentially done in the copper carvings. And it turns out that this was the very place, this was the very carvings that were taken out, some part of the gold that was distributed and it was sold off. It turns out it was sold off to a jewelry shop in Bellary. The SIT has been able to track down a few people. In fact, now what we're going to do is going to take you through, apart from Unnikrishnan Potti, who's the other person. Our sister channel, Republic Kannada, has now tracked down one of the key suspects in the Sabarimala gold theft case. His name is Kalpesh, who has been under the scanner, and he admits that he collected the gold, but claims that he did it as a favor. He confirmed that he handed over the gold to the owner of Rodam Jewelers in Bellary. The owner, however, has refused to reveal the source of the gold. He has also distanced himself from the controversy, denying any involvement. On your screens right now, this is the picture of one of the suspects, that is Kalpesh. In fact, he has also spoken out. We're going to play out that soundbite in a short while from now, where Kalpesh has essentially indicated that he had taken the jewelry, but he had no idea that this gold was of the Sabarimala temple, and in fact he had given it to the Rodam Jewelers, and he says that he had absolutely no idea. Listen to what he had to say.
मैं कल्पेश हूँ, कलिकोन ज्वेलर्स से स्टाफ हूँ और उधर 13 साल से काम कर रहा हूँ, 12-13 साल से अप्रॉक्स। और मेरे को रुद्रम ज्वेलर्स से मतलब ऐसे फ़ोन आया था ओनर को, तो मुझे भेजा गया था। वहाँ जाके मैंने रिसीव किया था, मेटल रिसीव किया था। रिसीव करके ला के उसके 7 दिन के बाद उनको जाके दुकान में दिया है बलारी।
Do you know Unnikrishnan Potti?
जी नहीं, मैं नहीं जानता ऐसे कोई।
You know about this theft case? Any sort of things about this theft case?
जी नहीं मालूम मेरे को।
Have you been to Sabarimala or Smart Creations before?
नहीं जानता, अब पहली बार मालूम पड़ा और पहली बार उस दुकान में गया था उस टाइम। मैं कल्पेश हूँ, कलिकोन ज्वेलर्स से स्टाफ हूँ और उधर 13 साल से काम कर रहा हूँ, 12-13 साल से अप्रॉक्स। और मेरे को रुद्रम ज्वेलर्स से मतलब ऐसे फ़ोन आया था ओनर को, तो मुझे भेजा गया था। वहाँ जाके मैंने रिसीव किया था, मेटल रिसीव किया था। रिसीव करके ला के उसके 7 दिन के बाद उनको जाके दुकान में दिया है बलारी।
Do you know Unnikrishnan Potti?
जी नहीं, मैं नहीं जानता ऐसे कोई।
You know about this theft case? Any sort of things about this theft case?
जी नहीं मालूम मेरे को।
Have you been to Sabarimala or Smart Creations before?
नहीं जानता, अब पहली बार मालूम पड़ा और पहली बार उस दुकान में गया था उस टाइम। मैं कल्पेश हूँ, कलिकोन ज्वेलर्स से स्टाफ हूँ और उधर 13 साल से काम कर रहा हूँ, 12-13 साल से अप्रॉक्स। और मेरे को रुद्रम ज्वेलर्स से मतलब ऐसे फ़ोन आया था ओनर को, तो मुझे भेजा गया था। वहाँ जाके मैंने रिसीव किया था, मेटल रिसीव किया था। रिसीव करके ला के उसके 7 दिन के बाद उनको जाके दुकान में दिया है बलारी।
Do you know Unnikrishnan Potti?
जी नहीं, मैं नहीं जानता ऐसे कोई।
You know about this theft case? Any sort of things about this theft case?
जी नहीं मालूम मेरे को।
Have you been to Sabarimala or Smart Creations before?
नहीं जानता, अब पहली बार मालूम पड़ा और पहली बार उस दुकान में गया था उस टाइम।
Let me also go across to my colleague Abhishek, getting us the latest details. Abhishek, Kalpesh happens to be one of the suspects, apart from Murari, who was taken into custody, and of course Potti being also being one of the main accused. But here, Kalpesh to Republic Kannada says that he did not know, and the fact that he had no idea that the gold that he had given to Rodam Jewellers happens to be that of the Sabarimala temple. What more details are you picking up?
Yeah, Shavan, the fact is that Potti Unnikrishnan, who is a resident of Bengaluru, Srirampura, has stayed there for more than a decade. So the racket probably might start from Srirampura, the Ayyappa temple itself. The point that the gold from Sabarimala had been transported, had been shipped, had been delivered to one of the jewelry shops in Bellary, the Rodhan Jewellers. There might be a big racket which has been involved and which has been eyeing on the gold in Sabarimala temple for a long term as of now. The establishment of connection between these people have already been started by the special investigation team of the Kerala Police Department. On the other hand, we've also seen a person who's already claimed that he did the shipment of gold to Rodham Jewellers as a favor because he was asked to do so, and he never knew that this was the gold which was stolen from the Sabarimala temple. On the other hand, we will also have to see what the special investigation team in the next couple of days, because 4.5 kilos of gold is not a small amount, which could have been easily carried in the car or in any other public transport. So there is also a checkpost which happens to be in the interstate or the connectivity roads between the states, and what were the police then doing is the point of question. There have been several lapses, not only in the police department, but also in the temple administrative system is what we have been told. We also have been told that some of the officials and people from Sabarimala temple have also been involved in this racket. And all these names will be unearthed in the next couple of days.
Abhishek, I just wanted to stay on with us because this man, Kalpesh, whom we are given to understand has been on the run, has now finally surfaced. We've been able to track him down. This is what he had to say when we had specifically asked him a question about whether he had any idea that the gold that he had actually sold it off to the jeweler in Bellary was off from Sabarimala. He refuses to really speak about where exactly he got the gold from. Listen it once again.
मैं कल्पेश हूँ, कलिकोन ज्वेलर्स से स्टाफ हूँ और उधर 13 साल से काम कर रहा हूँ, 12-13 साल से अप्रॉक्स। और मेरे को रुद्रम ज्वेलर्स से मतलब ऐसे फ़ोन आया था ओनर को, तो मुझे भेजा गया था। वहाँ जाके मैंने रिसीव किया था, मेटल रिसीव किया था। रिसीव करके ला के उसके 7 दिन के बाद उनको जाके दुकान में दिया है बलारी।
Do you know Unnikrishnan Potti?
जी नहीं, मैं नहीं जानता ऐसे कोई।
You know about this theft case, any sort of things about this theft case?
जी नहीं मालूम मेरे को।
Have you been to Sabarimala or Smart Creations before?
नहीं जानता, अब पहली बार मालूम पड़ा और पहली बार उस दुकान में गया था उस टाइम।
Abhishek, in terms of the investigation that has been carried out by the SIT, we're given to understand a report is likely to be presented before the court tomorrow. What is it that they have to say with regards to this man, Kalpesh, who refuses to even say where he actually got the gold from?
It is very clear from the statement of Kalpesh that he had been directed by a person to collect the gold. He doesn't name the person, he doesn't name the location where the gold was collected, and he doesn't even tell on what mode that he was informed to collect the gold and hand it over to the Rodhan Jewellers. On the other hand, there are questions which have already been raised by the special investigation team in front of Kalpesh, because he, despite the questioning about the people who are involved in this racket or how he got it from Sabarimala, he says he had never been to Sabarimala until now. He hasn't gone to the Rodham Jewellers until now. This is the first ever time that he has gone to such a jewelry shop in Bellary. On the other hand, when questioned about the people behind this, people involved in this racket, he hasn't mentioned on the video record as of now. So the police of the Kerala Police Department or the Special Investigation Team have already established the connection between Potti Unnikrishnan, who is a resident of Srirampura, Kalpesh, who also transferred the gold to Rodham Jewelers in Bellary, and various other call detail records have been taken out, have been collected to establish a connection between various other people who are involved, who were involved in the scam. If at all the special investigation team comes out with a proper report, the chances of them they going behind the bars are high. On the other hand, we have also been told many such crimes that are happening in Sabarimala, not only with respect to the gold, but also to the collection of cash and silver items. And there, the ghee also might come out. There is a huge adulteration racket with respect to Sabarimala's ghee, is what we have been informed. So there might be a detailed investigation report from the special investigation team, which will be submitted to the court, and probably they might disclose this to the public so that people involved from the temple administration should also face the public in the next couple of days. Shravan.
Thank you very much, Abhishek. A story that we'll be tracking very closely. Republic, the only news network to have tracked down one of the key suspects in the Sabarimala gold theft case. Shifting focus now to the other big story that we are tracking tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Pakistan panics as India preps for the military exercise near Sir Creek. Pakistan, in fact, had to depute its navy. In fact, the Navy chief was there taking stock of the situation at Sir Creek. Now, Pakistan has issued one more notification restricting multiple air traffic routes across a majority of its airspace as India prepares for its tri-services military exercise along the border. Now, what's important here is that this exercise is going to happen close to Sir Creek border. It was originally known as Ban Ganga, separates Run of Kutch in Gujarat from Pakistan's Sindh province. It has one of the largest fishing grounds in Asia, and it's home to untapped petroleum and minerals. But beyond that, now for the Pakistanis, it seems that things are going to be far more difficult, keeping in mind that what they're essentially doing as a response is carrying out construction activities along the Sir Creek. In fact, this is the very time that the kind of exercises that are being carried out, and Trishul being one such exercise that was going to begin from 30th of October, and the tri-services which is going to carry out these exercises, is something that hasn't really gone down well with the Pakistanis, because a warning has been sent out by Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh. For more on this, I'm also going to be going across to Lieutenant General P.R. Shankar. In fact, he's the former DG Artillery of the Indian Army, Professor Aerospace Engineering IIT Madras, and he also runs a YouTube channel, Ganashot. General Shankar, thank you very much. You have been in that area. You have overseen the activities in Sir Creek area. Thank you very much for joining us. I want you to help us understand when the Raksha Mantri says that Pakistan needs to be wary about what they are essentially doing in the Sir Creek area. What does the Raksha Mantri really mean? What's the messaging that is essentially being done?
Look, you'll have to understand the problem in Sir Creek at the outset, right? The Pakistanis feel that the Sir Creek boundary or the Pakistan boundary is along the green line, as you can see on the, graphic. But whereas we feel that the India-Pakistan boundary should be at the center of Sir Creek. It's based on the Talweg principle. That's the red line which you're probably showing. Talweg principle says, look, in any waterway or any valley or anything, the heights could be on either side. The center or the lowest point will be with the, will be the median line. And generally, in any waterway, the boundary is along the median line. That's the line which is used even between China and Taiwan, the median line. Well, Pakistan has its own ideas, so it claims the area on the western border of the Sir Creek. Now, why is Sir Creek important? Sir Creek is important because there is a chance that we could get a lot of oil in this area. Oil finds could be there. But that's speculative because there's no real, test done or all that. There's no drilling done, no exploratory drilling done. But apart from that, this area is rich in fish, lobsters, crabs, and all that, especially in the upper reaches of Sir Creek. And in upper reaches of Sir Creek, this goes, all around And there's one nala called the Harami Nala, which comes, into India. Rather, it flows from India into Pakistan, then it cuts back and go into Sir Creek area. That place is rich for lobsters and things like that, where a lot of smuggling takes place. And as a result, smuggling of everything else also takes place. So there are issues. And this is the same place, remember, a few years back, we just around the time of Op Vijay, before Op Vijay, we shot an Atlantic down of the Pakistanis in this area. They had intruded across and we shot them down on our own airspace. And that aircraft landed largely in the Indian territory. So it's got a history, and this is the place where 65, the Pakistanis came in from the north, not exactly Sir Creek, further to the north. So this place has a history of being in conflict. Now, combine it with the fact that, we've been saying we'll do Op Sindoor 2 and all that. So naturally, if you do a tri-service exercise the way we are talking of, Pakistan will be in a panic, as you mentioned earlier. So they would be worrying. It's not a matter of Sir Creek or what the Raksha Mantri has said, but it is more the matter of having a huge tri-service exercise in that area. So this is what I have to say. We can take this forward.
General Shankar, what's your understanding of the situation across the border? There have been multiple reports suggesting that Pakistanis are carrying out rampant construction in the area, with certainly Chinese help really coming in. What's the assessment that you are making from information that is available at your disposal?
Look, they are carrying out construction, they're carrying out infrastructure improvement across the Sir Creek, so that at some point of time they might create a situation for us where, it'll become a flashpoint and things like that. And look, this area is not amenable to major amphibious operations and great operations, but it is amenable to being, or rather it is susceptible to become a flashpoint. So a flashpoint here could trigger anything else more, right? And plus the fact that, Pakistan, these days is searching for oil, and imaginary though, and feels that even here it could get oil and it could do exploration and things like that. And if in this area they do strike oil, and if they don't have a good posture out here, then they become vulnerable. They worried that we could start interfering in all their exploration activities also. So that is why they're trying to, I wouldn't call it a very aggressive posture, but it's more shoring up their own defenses. But the Pakistani way is that even in shoring up their defenses, they will show aggression. So that is why our defense minister very clearly mentioned that if they do something, they'll get a nice reply for all this. He said this sometime last month. But that is not, that's there as it is. But we have to understand this exercise which our, defense ministry has planned is critical. Look, it's critical for us because we want to do jointmanship and doing training, all that, and such a big exercise of this kind, we would be trying out a lot of new concepts. We are also looking at theaterization. We're looking at joint forces command and all that. So many concepts would be tried out here. But Pakistan is in a, panic because such an exercise, if it starts off, especially with the fact that, they've already threatened, Asim Munir has threatened using nukes, all that. So they're worried. And that is why they've also issued a NOTAM. And I'm very sure that by now they're flying their aircraft left, right, and center and put all their surveillance devices up. And they're trying to monitor whatever is going to go on. They will monitor our exercise, which is to start on 30th October. But I think in a way, it keeps Pakistan on the hop. You issued a NOTAM. This NOTAM is not only just on this Sir Creek area and off Run of Kutch and into the North Arabian Sea, but we've also issued NOTAMs along the coast, along the Karwar coast, where we would be flying unmanned systems and things like that. So that has really put Pakistan in a tizzy. They don't know what to do.
Right.
I mean, look at it from the Pakistani point of view. What if suddenly this tri-service exercise turns into an attack? That must be their thinking. And hence they're taking precautionary steps. And that's the way I look at it.
Well, thank you very much, General Shankar, for putting this into perspective. This comes from someone who has overseen various operations in that area. And more importantly, with the tri-services that is going to carry out this exercise, as General Shankar points out, this is going to send the Pakistanis into a tizzy, given the fact there are multiple operations that are to be carried out, multiple exercises, simulation exercises that would be carried out. Thank you very much, General Shankar, for joining us on this broadcast. Well, that's all that we could pack in this edition of This Is Exclusive. Coming up, trending with my colleague Rakshita.
Co-powered by Century Plus.